Hey guys, it is Khadija, aka Miss K. Welcome to Casting Cares with Khadija Presents Casting Conversations. I'm having some delays right now, so we're gonna just start because I was saying that we're gonna start at 7:10 since we had to push it back a little bit. But as we go along, I will have my camera and everything fixed, so do not worry. Hello to Demarcus, Vaughn, Daria, Shanice, Sharoni. Moochie was in here. Stephen Harris. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to get my co-host in here, Miss Lachelle. Lachelle. Hi.
Hi, everyone.
You're
Always
looking
glad to be.
cute.
Thank you, doll.
Can you hear
Thank
me
you, doll.
good?
Yes, you sound so good. Yes, you sound
Okay.
so good.
All right. So it's not going to be like this for long. Just bear with me, okay? Um, but how are you today?
Thank God I am well. How's all those beautiful people out there watching Casting Cares with Khadija? I hope everyone is having an amazing, thankful Thursday.
Yes, I love that. Thankful Thursday. I'm loving your glasses.
Thank you, doll.
I had to get some glasses like I ordered a bunch of glasses like that, but they have like different colors, but they don't have that nice yellow color because I got like light blue, light pink, you
Okay.
know.
I got so much glasses. I love it. And I take the frames out of them. I like rocking them. It's a Brooklyn thing, you know?
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
too
Brooklyn
cute.
thing.
Ah, you always been doing that.
I always been doing that. It's the Brooklyn thing.
Yes.
So the weather's getting nice. I said, let me come up here, for the people and look nice for the people, you know? Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Always looking beautiful. So tonight
Thank you,
we're going to
darling.
be talking about
What
dating men in prison.
what a powerful thing to talk about. My God. This
Yeah.
is a global topic. I'm telling you, this topic is deep.
I didn't
Whew.
even change my background. Like it's got oh my gosh, it's got the other channel's background on it. I'm gonna handle all of that, guys. I apologize.
Yes.
Thank you, Demarcus. He said, I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Yes, we're having a wonderful day,
Yes.
you know. Um, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna just talk a little bit. But have you ever watched this show called Love After Lockup?
I saw bits and pieces of it. I never really sat and watched it, but I went on YouTube. It's amazing you said that and watched some parts of it and some people talking about different situations. And what we'll get into that later. I'll tell you about my story, but go ahead. But I
Yes.
watched it on
So
YouTube today, actually, some parts of it. But I always heard a lot of people watch it. I think I'm gonna start watching it to see what's going on in it. Mhm.
yeah, well, I've never watched it. I see everybody watching it, so I just wanted to know if you watched it. But
Mhm.
I see what's going on, and it looks like so much drama. So my question would really be like, why? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
and
mean,
and and it's no judgment.
no,
It's
that's
just
good you said that. That's good
yeah,
you said
it's
that.
just what would make a woman, want to
Or a
date a
man.
man in prison, right? Or a man. What would make
Yeah.
a woman want to date a man that's in prison, right? And so when I was trying to find statistics and just, do a little research on it, it was mentioned in one of the studies that I found that there's not enough research on the topic.
Mhm.
But what I did find was that there are actually over 40 dating sites dedicated to
Yes.
dating inmates.
Yes. I found that out too today. There's an app. I watch a young lady. I said, let me pull it up and follow what my sister's doing. And I was watching men that were in prison, that came out of prison, that have YouTube channels now, and women. And one of the ladies talked about, we'll go deep as you're talking. And there is an app where you can date men in prison and women. There are apps. There's a man that was on that show called The Doctors that pulled up on YouTube, and he made an
Mhm.
app. Yeah, he made an app.
Wow.
Hmm. Yeah,
That
it's an
is
app for
that's just crazy. Like not
it.
crazy in the bad way. I'm just saying to have it like to where it's actually sought after
Yes,
is like
yes,
wow.
yes. Isn't that something? It's
Yes.
it's a great thank God for you. It's a great subject, and see, these are the things, sometimes that us as believers, even in the church world, we don't talk about. We need to talk about these things because even like you said, they don't give a lot of statistics, but when I looked at it's over a billion people. I think it was like 1.9 or 9.5 billion people that are connected and dating and marrying to people that are incarcerated. Could you imagine? Okay.
That is
Isn't that crazy?
crazy.
It's definitely over a million people. Way over. It's like 9 million.
Wow.
Yeah. That are statistically either married or dating in relationships and people that are incarcerated.
Okay.
Not, yeah, yeah. And not
Were
only
you?
that, go ahead,
No,
sis.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Then there was a story you might people that's in the chat might have heard about it. It happened some years ago that there are guards, correctional officers that date men that are in prison. And what happened? This was a big thing. I think it happened in New York too. Um, I think it might have happened in Brooklyn, in New York. There was a woman, a Latino sister, that got involved with an inmate, had two kids by the inmate. The inmate is on death row. So she's, of course, out of corrections, but they said until this day, she's still in love with this inmate. He's on death row. She had two kids by them. Yeah, there are guards that even get
Oh,
involved with inmates.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
happens all the
Oh,
time.
I know that happens all the time.
It's
Oh my
many
God.
stories. It's many, many stories. It's
And you
many stories.
and you already know that they have rules and regulations for all that stuff, but nobody follows the
Oh,
rules.
who follows rules? What does that mean? That's
Right.
a curse word to this
What is that?
culture. Rules, that's a curse word to this culture. I hope people in the
Ah,
chat hear me, but it's the truth. Oh my God, that is definitely a curse word to culture. Rules? What is that?
yeah.
Structure? What is that? Nobody
What is
listens to
that?
that. Nah, they don't listen to that. No.
um,
I
so
can't
I
wait to
know,
see your pretty face.
huh?
I said I can't wait to see your pretty face. It's weird
Oh,
talking to the thing.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm working it out right now as we speak. So I'm trying to do two things at once.
Take your time. Yeah, but this is a great topic. This is not something that you talk about for one day. It's so much things we'll talk about. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Okay. It sure is. But while we're, before we really get into a little more of it, Sharoni was saying hi. She says she's back. She apologizes for her extended break.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here, Sharoni. It's always great
Hey
to have you,
Sharon.
dear. So Sharoni is saying that if she wanted to share something,
Oh sure.
she she wanted to know if, like what are the rules and stuff. So basically the rules are just no profanity, and you know what I mean.
Right.
And just share, of course we're being kind and stuff
Being
like that.
kind. Yeah, yeah.
And I'm
Even if
sure
you
you'll do a
disagree.
good
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll do a good job with that, Sharoni. So whatever you want to share, just let us know. I don't know if you want to come up and share,
That'd be nice.
send you a
All
link
right.
and everything, and you can, come on like that. So now when I get on this screen, don't look at me like I'm crazy because I'm rocking my mane. Okay.
Oh, go
Man,
girl. You from
my
Brooklyn too. You
man.
know what it is. You from Brooklyn too. You know how we do it, Brooklyn. Hello.
I'm not feeling it. Excuse me, to be honest.
Okay. You still cute though. No matter what. You still cute. Hello. That never changes.
Thank you, dear.
We witness. Hello. Oh, you're here. Yay.
All right. Well,
Oh, you
I
sound good.
guess
Yeah,
I
you
sound
sound good.
better.
You sound good.
All right. So I'm sorry that it doesn't sound as good as before. But let's
But
get into this, okay?
yes.
So I have a few things that I have before we get into your story, right? Now, why women get involved with men in prison? So one theory is that women become involved with prison inmates because they have acquired maladaptive love styles due to previous childhood maltreatment and
Uh,
abusive
you definitely
relationships.
got to break that down. Dr. Khadija. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I ain't scared to say what did you just say? Like, I have no idea what that means. Okay.
What's
Uh,
up, Janae, my sis? Okay,
Hi,
so it's
Janae.
basically saying that because of what happened when they were kids, they were treated poorly when they were children.
Hmm.
They've, or they've had previous abusive relationships.
Yeah.
They go for, men in prison. But that's just one theory, so we can't
Hmm.
really go by. If it's just a theory,
No.
we can't really go by that, right? So now we also have some common characteristics for women who date or fall in love with men in prison. So we have that they're damaged, right? First of all,
Mm.
I got this from Dr. Phil, y'all.
Come on, Dr.
this
Phil.
this part, damaged. Okay, that's a characteristic. Psychologically, emotionally, physically. Okay, so they could have been in a. I mean, one
Yeah.
thing that I will say about some of this stuff that I got, a lot of them, they're saying some of the same things,
Yeah.
that women, they were already in abusive relationships. Okay, so you're gonna hear that a few times as I'm reading different studies. Um, they tend to approach the situation as if it's a fantasy.
Mm.
Yeah, you don't
That's
have
a
to.
good one. We're going
Yeah.
to tap into that after you finish. So that stuck out to me when you said fantasy. Wow.
Okay.
That's deep.
So it's like you don't have to pick up behind him or do his dirty laundry and stuff like that. No
That's
cooking
good.
for them. They rationalize the things that he's done. Oh, he was young, etc. Stuff like that.
Ooh, this is good.
Okay, and then there's something about being attracted to a man that is involved with danger or men that commit
Yes.
crimes.
Bad
So
boy.
that's
What you
his.
going to do?
That's hybristophilia, I believe that's what it's called.
Mm.
Child.
Come on, doctor. You doing it. Share these words, girl, so I can adopt it and be in conversations and say hyperphilia.
No,
Um,
no, and I hope I'm saying it right. I believe he said
I can just talk to
hybristophilia.
people and just use this word.
So that's like a sexually like an abnormal sexual attraction.
Yeah, like it's like, and you mentioned it like a fantasy, and in your mind, it's like a reality. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's really
So
good.
okay, so here's this, and then we're gonna let you talk about the fantasy element. So one research study examined women of varying ages,
Hmm.
ethnicities, education, and employment status who were in relationships with incarcerated men. While they weren't diagnosed with major mental illnesses or personality disorders, which is why we're saying why would you do that? There's nothing really wrong with them, right? As far as no mental illness or personality disorders, but many came from difficult upbringings with a history of abuse. And notably, 90% had experienced dominant, verbally abusive prior marriages.
Hmm.
Okay. So, some may become sexually aroused by being with a
Hmm.
partner convicted of a severe crime such as R. We don't use that word. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
M.
Right. We don't use that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Or armed robbery. So RM or armed robbery. This is a paraphilia known as hybristophilia. That's what I
Wow.
said before.
Wow.
I hope I'm saying it right.
Hmm.
Okay. American Psychiatry Diagnostic System DSM 5 notes that this condition may interfere with the establishment of normal sexual relationships.
Mm.
All right. So before we continue on, do you want to talk about what you were saying
Yeah, because you said
about
a
the?
lot of you raised up a lot of great points. Even as I was watching um some of the stuff about people that dealt with people in prison, even myself, I'll get into that later. The one of the things that the woman said, she said a lot of times, and it's so profound. She said sometimes when it comes, and I'm not just going to say women, just women, but there are men too that go through this, because there were men that I watched that one couple, like you said off of that show, that it was the man that was waiting for the woman that came out of prison and they're together. So it's men and women. I know it's mostly, sometimes the statistics might be a little higher. I don't know myself, but let's just say men and women. So let's deal with women, being that we're women. Let's deal with women. One of the things, sorry guys, this thing keep flowing. One of the things she said is, and even the ones that I watched on YouTube concerning lockup, they said when you're incarcerated, there's a lot of time. There's a lot of time. There's a lot of time. And what happens to women, especially women that like my girl Khadija just was talked about, is when it comes to women, that you went through bad relationships, abusive relationships, whether that be spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, economically, your childhood was rough. And then there's a flip side, because then you have people that were brought up had a great childhood, that had
Yeah.
both parents, got great education. We see people that are stone killers, and they come from a great background. So she said it's the attention. That's a powerful thing. And a lot of times when it comes with, I'm saying it for women because we're women, it's the attention that women seek. You
Mm.
understand? It's the
Mm.
attention. Now that this man is incarcerated, glory be to God, where he going?
Right.
I mean, hopefully
I
he
don't.
ain't dipping and dabbing. That happens too in there.
Yeah.
But where's he going? Like,
Right.
even
There's.
if he's talking to somebody, like, where's he going? He can't go nowhere. And now, when you were dating, I don't know, you may have went somewhere, hanging out, but now you got this man calling you every day. He's
Mm-hmm.
writing letters to you every day. The lady said this man was sending her flowers. Like, this attention, he got all his attention is on you.
Yeah.
And this is something that, like, you never experienced. You saying wow, and you're telling everybody, and they saying, like you said, they looking at you like sideways, like, but he's locked up. But in your mind, that's the fantasy. You saying, I
Mm-hmm.
don't care, but he loves it. Like, look what women will say, well, I never experienced it. They'll start saying, well, I dated men. I was married before with men that never been in prison. Here goes another story, that never been incarcerated, and they treated me horrible. They cheated. They left me. They all of this kind of stuff. But then I got this man that's in prison. And people will try to justify. Now let me go into my story. Now don't like, and I
Well,
don't
wait, wait,
want
wait. Hold on.
that.
Before you go into your thing, listen. This is the reason why that is crazy. Hey, Lisa, Pastor Lisa.
Oh, hi,
This
Prophetess
is the
Lisa.
reason
Love you.
why
It's
why
crazy, right?
why it's so crazy, because you
Crazy.
saying to yourself, oh, he's not going anywhere, he's giving me all this attention, but that's also because he's lonely, number one, right?
That's what I was
you're
getting ready to
give
say too.
you're giving him the time, and number two,
Where he going?
it's more like
It's not genuine,
it's not just attention, it's the security that the woman
right?
feels. If you don't feel like you don't have to worry about him cheating on you. You
Well,
know what I'm
we
saying?
hope not.
But at the same time, that's what she thinks. But
That's what she thinks,
then
because he could
if
be
you go, hold on, but if you go up there and you find another chick's name on the waiting list,
or a
then you're
man,
gonna have a problem.
or a man
Okay?
inside the jail.
Okay.
I mean, it happens. Like, it's sad, but it's the truth. Like, you don't know.
All right, so go ahead. You could say your
So that was so profound, but it's crazy, because I love when you said these are the fantasies that we talking about women, because we're women, happens to men too. I want the men to think, well, it happened to me too with women. When you're dating somebody, and let me talk about me. When you're dating a person that's behind bars. Now, don't get me wrong, because there are a lot of great stories. Let me say that. And I like what my girl Khadija said. It's no judgmental, because there are great stories of great men and women of God that love Jesus, that have been in prison, that came out of prison. You understand what I mean? When I think about Sarah Jakes Roberts, um, Pastor Tory, I didn't even know was very heavily gang related. I didn't know he came from Watts and all of those places. So I'm not saying for people that may come up here and say, well, because it can happen. Somebody
mm-hmm.
can be involved with somebody, and they come out and they're on fire for God. You know what I mean? I don't want to judge, because then people might have a marriage and say, "Well, I was married to my husband. Things happen, and my husband or my wife wasn't your wife or husband then, got involved in something, was in prison, they came out and they were great. We understand that. But if you look at statistics, let's be honest, even when I looked at, it's not healthy. I wouldn't advocate it. I'm talking about for me. You know what I mean? I wouldn't advocate somebody being involved with somebody in prison. I wouldn't advocate it. Glory be to God. Unless, I mean, it has to be some soul absolute counsel structure. It would have to be really a opening from God. But for me, I was married to
Right.
someone in prison. So I'm not just saying this, you know, fine as wine, glory be to God. 6'4",
Oh.
chocolate, won't say his name because he might have some family up here. But I was married to him. And, you know, I didn't I used to go to upstate. He was in upstate and he was in for armed robbery,
Mm.
jewelry stores, all that kind of stuff. And it's no joke. I mean, just mentally, what I had to go through, it was feel like I was being violated. And I'm just a visitor.
Right.
You have to be, when you go upstate or go to these local jails, I don't know if anybody ever been in them. You are strict. You hear
Mm.
me? There are canine dogs. They put you in a circle that dogs can smell you.
Mm.
You are padded. Your private, you are padded. You, if your hair is a certain way, you might have to take all that wig and them pins. Like, it's serious when you go to jail.
Wow.
You can't wear anything on you. That's,
Mm-hmm.
they don't, and then they come out, it's sad, in these jumpers with chains on. It's not healthy. They, oh, excuse me, I almost said his name. Um he was a stone criminal. Now
Mm-hmm.
when he came out, now mind you, he came out December, maybe the 4th. I married him December 11th. Who does that? The
So you
man wasn't
married
even
you
out 2 weeks.
you married him
He
after
came
he came out.
after he came out, but it was only a week later. He didn't even
Right.
know who he was. It's a different identity. He was a different. That's a different idea. Prison is a whole different system, even
Mm-hmm.
mentally. You think the streets are bad? You could imagine what people go through in prison. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So he came out and he was a straight criminal. Nothing changed. And I ain't
Hmm.
gonna lie, it was a little abuse from him. It was a little abuse. Not so much physical abuse. I got so many stories that I never talk about. But he tried to make me do stuff. Can I be honest? Can I talk honest on here?
Please
Let me
do.
be honest, because this gonna set people free. Now it's funny because when you got a criminal mind, you got a mastermind. God gives you a great mind. He wants you to
Mm-hmm.
use that for His glory. He was a master, a thief. He was a master. I used to live with him, and we used to be squatters.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I was in illegal stuff with this guy and didn't think nothing of it. And I'm not talking about just squatting in some trash hole. I'm talking about his friends, and it's sad that I know all of this. His friends will see, like, you know how you see houses that got chains on them.
Mm-hmm.
House, I'm talking about homes, houses, not no apartment
Right.
that people haven't lived in a long time in your
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood. They will
Mm-hmm.
bust the locks.
Wow.
They would get, easy to get it. They will go to Staples and get a lease. They will see old mail that came in that house, and they would have that person's landlord. And guess what? By law in New York City, if you're in somewhere for 30 days, they can't even kick
They
you out. You
can
got to
take
go through
him.
court. Not only that, when I was with him,
That's
if the
crazy.
people that own the house, I'm telling you the truth, this is the goddamn truth. The people that own the house can't even put you out. It's a civil matter. I've been there when cops came. They
Mm.
can't put you out. So if they don't see no criminal activity, he told me how to be a good neighbor. I'm telling you, this is what I was dealing with. He had me a criminal mind. I was sweeping, saying hi to the neighbors, cleaning my porch, having barbecues. He was a straight criminal. One
Wow.
time, the cops came. They thought he had a gun. Girl, they ramshacked. You talking about pulling wall now? He was in jail. I still went to see him.
Mm.
Still with him. I'm telling you, this is what happens. I'm talking about for me. Maybe I have great stories. He And then like same thing with the husband that's just did something to me recently. He did the same thing.
He
So I
just
like what you said
left.
about women. He had the same pattern. He
Mm.
left and
Mm.
left me in a abandoned building, rats, cold water, dark, nothing. And he broke out
Oh
of love. And
Lord.
then had the audacity to send me pictures where he was at. So this is what was in me. Let me talk to the women. Like you
Yeah.
said, low self-esteem, not being in a healthy relationship. You attract that. That's what I
Mm.
attracted. Married again and attracted the same thing.
Mhm.
He was still in prison, even though he wasn't in physical bars. His mentality was in prison. You understand
Right.
what I mean? So it
Yeah.
wasn't good at all. It wasn't. It
Mm-mm.
wasn't a good thing. It wasn't good.
Wow.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. And that's my experience. So I would not advocate it. I'll be honest
Mm-mm.
with you. If he ain't the judge,
Right.
in the courtroom, I wouldn't aggravate people to involve themselves in that. It's very dangerous. And then you got to think about they may have went in for robbery, but who knows if they sodomize children. You don't know, and you bring them
Mm-hmm.
around your kids and your family. So man or woman, because even women can move in deception. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Let's not say it always on the men. Women too can move in deception. There are a lot of killers that women that are behind the prison walls, and we're praying for them that God set them free and deliver them. But we have to be very careful when it comes to relationships that people that are in a prison because their mentality, they're masters at disguising themselves, telling you things you want to hear. So we have to be very careful. And I dealt with that. I'm telling you, it wasn't good. It was
Mm.
not good for me at all. It wasn't good for me. Now, thank God he came out after all of that stuff. I divorced him. And the last time I seen him was years ago. He was good. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't advocate it. I
Right.
wouldn't. I wouldn't advocate it.
Sharoni says my narc, aka Mr. Terrible. He said I have the judge wrapped around my finger. And then she says, meanwhile, all court, DA, and doctors wanted to give him unlimited chances. That's
Wow.
terrible. So
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I'm gonna
She
finish
went through
reading what
something
I
like that.
have.
She
We have
experienced
a
something.
yeah, we so we're gonna finish talking about that, but we have a founder of some, I guess some dating site or whatever it is, but I don't really, I wasn't really paying that much of attention of who is saying this because it was just somebody that was speaking to the health report, right? They were just
Hmm.
basically providing some type of insight on why the women choose the relationships.
Hmm.
And so her quote was that these women, I think she's like the owner of the site, the dating site. These
Okay.
women just want to offer support to people that do not have a connection to the outside world. Inmates have nothing but time. You really get to know that person because you talk about everything and anything. This is what makes these relationships strong. So obviously this is somebody that's advocating. Why is she advocating for it?
She's
Because this
advocating
is
for
her
it.
business.
Of
So of course
course.
she's going to say all good things.
Of
So
course she's going to say it.
she says, this is what makes these relationships strong. You can still have a relationship, but you don't have to be as committed in terms of cooking dinner every night and going to, the family obligations and stuff like that, etc. Pain heals pain. They feel special because they are the one.
Wow. She
So
said
called.
pain heals pain. Ooh,
Right.
that's
So now
ooh.
there's someone named, her name is Julia, but this is more of a pseudonym, so it's not her real name. Julia met her partner Bill, also a pseudonym, through
Right.
Canadian Inmates Connect.
Mm.
Bill is convicted of M and
Wow.
is serving a 25-year sentence.
Mm.
Julia had been through the prison system herself and knows the loneliness it brings. She made her selection based on two criteria. Bill was in for a long time, so he would not come out. So that's what she was looking at. And the jail was far, so she could not visit. That now see that's something different. Here you have a woman who chose this man because he's gonna be in jail for a long time and the place is far, so she's not even gonna visit him.
So why
So
even have the?
I
Doesn't
had
make sense.
before we continue on to what she was saying, because some of the studies were saying that a lot of women get involved with these men because of childhood trauma, or being mistreated and stuff. But
Mhm.
she was saying that her childhood, she said, there has been no violence, no alcohol abuse, no drug abuse in my family. I'm educated,
I just said that earlier. Yeah.
currently completing a university degree, and I own my own business and solely take care of my children. I don't think my partner's sentence is who he is. He just got caught up in something. So she's doing what Dr. Phil said, which is rationalizing.
Yeah, that's what I
He is
said. Yeah.
loyal. He is loyal and hardworking. He has dreams and aspirations and is strong enough to want to change. Okay, what happened? Strong enough to want to change. Okay, I must
Hmm.
have messed. I must have change his future. Okay, so here's the thing. She's saying all this crazy stuff, yet she chose a man that's not coming out for a long time and who's very, very far away so that she doesn't have to visit him. She sounds like a piece of work. No
Yeah.
disrespect, but she definitely sounds like a piece of work because she wants it to be as simple as possible. Maybe she's just looking for a companion, somebody she can always talk to, that she knows is not going to be around, is not going to disrupt her life in any way. But one thing that I will say is that in one of the studies, when I was trying to find statistics of how long relationships last when the people get out.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's another
Because
thing.
you can say all you want, but when they come home, it's a different story. Now you do
Yeah.
have to clean
I
up
fa-
after somebody, and now
I
you
went
have to
through it.
deal,
Yeah.
and now you have to deal with him trying to being up, trying to re-enter and get into back into society, and he can't find a job, and now you have to deal with the frustrations that he's bringing home because he can't find work and this and that. So then, you know what I mean? And so,
Yeah.
how faithful is he going to be when he gets home? Like, it's a lot. So,
Brother been locked up for a long time. Ain't been around no women. So I don't know.
exactly. So, I'm gonna before I let you go, I just want to finish this because I don't want to read any more of this stuff. So, a psychologist, Ami Rokach, was has worked in the prison system for 28 years. In an interview with the TMHR, he explains why some women choose incarcerated men. He says there are different types of women that could be interested in this type of relationship. There is the very high nurturing type who
Hmm.
feels they can save someone.
That's good.
Then there's the type who wants someone who is considered tough, rough, and manly because this gives the illusion that they can protect them. DeMarcus
Mm.
said that. I saw DeMarcus make a comment of that. Third, there is the rebellious type who are unhappy and angry and who live a vicarious rebelliousness through this experience.
Mm.
So back to our friend Julia, she's saying being in a relationship with Bill allows her to experience emotional availability and connection on her own terms, which is why look, I didn't even realize that this is what it said, that she was, this is how she feels, and that's why I
She
said
feels
she a
in
piece
like
of
she's
work.
in control.
She's a
Yeah.
piece of work, yeah, because she want to be in control of everything. She don't want to
Yeah.
see him. She don't
No.
want him to come out. This is
No.
just you're emotionally
Okay.
available for me. So she says, I want people to understand that the stigma about women that are in relationships with inmates, that they are unstable or crazy, is not true.
Wow.
People ask me, how can you fall in love with someone you have never seen in person? To that I say, what is the biggest success indicator of a relationship? Communication. I talk to him for many hours on the phone. I know how he feels. I can hear it in his voice when he is happy, sad, or whatever feeling. I compare this to a long distance relationship. It's no different.
Mm.
So it's saying that what can be incomprehensible to many is alluring to some. So that's pretty much that. Another statistics that I was looking at, what was showing me, because like I said, I was trying to figure out how long people were staying together after the fact. But the most people that stayed together after the fact were people that were already married to the inmate when he got in,
Right. Right.
and,
Right.
and they
Right.
had
I
children
saw that.
together,
Yes.
and plus he honestly, one thing that I noticed, one pattern that I noticed with that was that a lot of them were only in jail for like 2 years.
Right. See, okay.
So let's
And
talk
that's
about
a
some
very
real
good point,
bigs.
too. What you said, that's a good point, too, because I thought about that, too. Sometimes, because things happen. Don't get me wrong. There's things that happen in life. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And God has extended grace and mercy on everybody. Things happen. And like you said, now some situations where a person has not been in prison for a long time, things happen. I don't know. But uh, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I looked up and saw things, as I looked on YouTube and looked on line and stuff, a lot of people, like you said about this woman that try to justify it, are with inmates that are in prison for a long time. It wasn't like a short. It was like 17 years, 20 years, 30 years,
Yeah.
and like you said, we won't mention all the crimes, but from some real violated crimes. You know what I mean?
Right.
As a person, you really have to take that under consideration. I'm not only Jesus is the great cardiologist, but you got to take that even as a person into consideration. And now she says she just want this emotionally thing, like you said. So that means there's a part of her that's somewhere in her life, because she started talking about, well, I went to school and I didn't grow up
Yeah.
with a, and I told you earlier, a lot of times it's not people that have a bad family life. It's not people that you know it was substance abuse. A lot of times there are families where parents worked. They
Yeah.
worked a lot. They wasn't around to talk, to go to the baseball game, the ice skating game, and like you grow up, like you said, now you need some emotional attachment. Where they gonna go? I've been through it. Letter, I'm telling you, I wouldn't advocate it. And I say this boldly, I wouldn't advocate it. You know what I mean? Unless you got some guidance from some a leader that's seasoned and they guide you and direct you, and that person. Now, some situations, like you just said, there may be people that have already been with their mate. You know what I mean? They've been around them a long time. They know them. I don't know. Wherever God takes you, and I know there are testimonies. Don't get me wrong. There are
Yeah.
people that have been in, like I said, when I heard about Pastor Tori and so many other men and women of God, even men of God that have did prison life and came out and was on fire for God.
Right.
You know what I
It
mean?
happens.
That
It
happens. We're
happens.
not saying that. Paul was in prison. Paul was single, but he was in prison. So we see it in scripture that people were in prison, in jail. You know what I mean? But today's culture, let's be honest, let's talk reality. In today's society, where there is no biblical, and I say it boldly because like you said, we ain't forcing nobody, but I got to advocate Jesus. Like, if there is no guidance through the Word of God, and you just got some psychiatrist telling you, oh, so you know, I don't know. I wouldn't if I had with my daughters and my granddaughters. I don't know about that. I don't know about that because I went through it. I know what it is. Oof,
Um.
I've been through it.
So when okay, you met him while he was in prison.
No, I knew him before that.
Okay.
I knew him for a long time, actually. I knew him
And
before that.
so when did you get with him? When he got in prison?
No, well, I knew him since I was young. Actually, my, oh God, I got so many stories. But anyway, that's another
I was
segment.
just trying to find out if
When I
you.
was growing up, the neighborhood I was in, him and his cousin always was in that neighborhood.
Okay.
When you're young, I was young. We used to be
Mm,
on the stoop, and they used to walk him and his cousin, and I had a little crush on him. You know what I mean? Him and his friend used to boost clothes. I don't know if people know what that is in Brooklyn. That means they used to
yeah.
steal clothes. I don't know if people know what that means. And they used to sell clothes, boost clothes, and whatnot back in the day. And he was, I was young. He was cute, attractive, and then he liked me. He paid attention to me. There it goes. There go that attention. He paid attention to me. And I'm like, he want to talk to me? Because I was going through, low self-esteem. I'm going to be
Mhm.
honest. Growing up, having darker skin, I went through all of that. That's another segment we could talk about. I went through all of that. So I had a lot of low self-esteem, and then this fine, handsome guy was attracted to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how I went. That's how I knew him. And then after a while, he was in prison. I went to prison, upstate, regular jail. commissary, money, you know,
Yeah.
did all of that.
You
And
was basically his rider. Okay.
I was his rider. He talking about, and only did 4 years. He did 4 years upstate, and he did about maybe like some months in regular prison. So altogether, he probably did about maybe 5 years altogether in
Yeah.
prison and whatnot. For armed robbery. But you know, he was a criminal. He came out and nothing changed.
Mm.
It didn't. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Nothing changed.
it
Yeah,
didn't change.
that's the thing. And Moochie was saying that it's hard on the kids too. That's another
So
thing.
true.
So, but even though this is more for like the women that are actually going for men that are already incarcerated, like they
Yes,
didn't know
this is
them
about.
from a hole. They didn't know them from a hole in the
Did
wall.
not know him
They're literally going after these guys. So
on
my
their
thing
apps.
is, yes, on the apps, like they have over 40 apps
That's
dedicated to dating
crazy.
men or dating people in prison.
Wow, that's
That
crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. So we're just trying to say, what's the mindset of these kind of women? What characteristics do they have? So I didn't get a chance to do a deep dive, but I just think that at some point we know that there has to be they're thinking of something. They're thinking of like some of the studies were saying that it's a fantasy. They like bad guys, or we know where they are. It's a sense of,
That's
excuse
true.
me, of some weird security. You know
That's
what I
so
mean?
good. That's so good, Khadija, what you
Since
said. A sense of weird security. I love that. I didn't even think
Yeah,
about
because how
that.
could you be secure when this guy he's locked up and I mean, it's just
And God only knows what's going on in prison. Do you know the
exactly.
stuff? Who knows if he tapping in prison?
Oh my
I'm just saying,
gosh,
like,
exactly. So you don't know what's going on, and the thing is, you never, like, I think you were saying it before. You don't even know if it's really genuine. He could be just using you to pass the time because nobody else gave him the time of day.
no, no. And one of the ladies, when she talked about she dated someone in prison, she said she noticed that the guys, she said he was very handsome. She said nice chocolate. She said he was very, very attractive. Isn't that something? Of course, you're doing calisthenics. I know, I've been there. And I ain't gonna lie. When I went to prison, when I used to visit,
Mm-hmm.
that ex in prison, the men are amazing looking. Of
Yeah, because
course,
all they
there's no
got
drugs, there's no alcohol. They working out, they drinking water, they eating right.
right,
You know that calisthenic, that outside them push up them. They not six pack, they got 8 packs. They
right.
skin, they groom well, they washing well. Listen, they look. Let me tell you, I won't lie. They look amazing. You
Well,
looking
they
like, yo, why this dude in prison? Like, where the dudes at? Like, you know. But she said she noticed that the guy started asking for her social security number.
mm,
She said
scamming.
he started asking her for social security number. Then he started saying, "Oh, won't you bring this in the jail?" You understand? So
Yep.
why you want my social security number though?
Mm,
You in jail. Why you need my social security number?
well.
She was talking about red flags. She said
Mm-hmm.
they'll start sending you flowers, you know. And then she said another thing I tell people whoever watching who may be experiencing this now. She said always listen to the people around you that may knew him before he went there. When they start telling you, I don't think it's good,
Mm-hmm.
don't do it. She said
Yeah.
listen to that.
Yeah. Well, then
Listen to that.
what do you do with people that, like, because you don't know, like, for the women that have targeted these men and they don't know them from anywhere, well, you don't have that opportunity to hear somebody say, hey, you know what I mean, don't do it, girl.
It's scary. It's very
Yeah.
scary. It's
Yeah, it is.
scary. It's
And
scary. And it's
especially if
scary.
you're going after the people that have committed R and M, and like, how
Yeah,
could you
this is
trust them? This lady, Julie, what was her name? Julia. She has children. But
isn't it?
remember, she already made up in her mind, well, he ain't coming home no time soon, so I don't really have to deal with that.
But my thing is, how does she? And
Emotional.
it's another thing. They lie. How do you know he's not coming home? Now he
Mm,
know your address. How do you know that? If you never went to see him, you
mm,
don't know nothing about him but just a phone conversation. That's something like
yeah.
that. You don't even know a guy can tell you He doing
Ooh.
20. He ain't coming out yet. And brother man know your address.
And just pop up.
You don't even know, and he just pops up.
Oh my
See, this is
gosh.
the things you don't take into account. And you might say, oh, well, we just talk every now and then, so it's not serious. And then you get involved with
Yeah.
somebody else in person and he
Mm-hmm.
roll up.
Yes. And it's a whole problem.
It's
It's
a
another
girl.
it's another
The SWAT is
187.
coming out. It's a whole problem. You know what I mean?
He
So you
back
don't
in
even
jail.
know how, and that's why sometimes you could be delusional because you don't even know if that's his real sentence or if he's
Mm-hmm.
the real person. You ain't never seen him. You
Right.
don't even know if you're talking to five different people. You don't know.
Oh my gosh.
See, these are the things. Remember
Mm-mm-mm.
the Bible talks about the enemy was the most craftiest
Mm-hmm.
and skilled.
Yep.
So you don't even know. You don't know.
No.
And I remember when we used to have the old church back in the days, Victory, Pastor Knight gave us a very good example. Pastor Knight's a great example too, because he once was in prison. He changed his life. He married. He don't fight for God.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, there are good testimonies that come out of it too. But he warned us when we went to go visit and preach the gospel in the jails. He said, "Do not get involved with no inmate. Don't get no personal telephone numbers. Don't do nothing. Always come through me." Because he told us a story. There was a man. There was a woman that didn't listen. She used to be with them. She got involved with the inmate. She didn't know that he was into doing stuff to kids.
Mm.
And her kids got, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
she didn't listen. So that's what I'm saying. So when this
Yep.
lady's saying that, you don't even know what you're dealing with. You
Not
don't.
at all. Not at
He
all.
telling you 20 and he might know your address. Now you probably done gave him all your information and you wake up and this brother standing in front of you. You're like, it's
Oh,
scary.
sounds so
It's
scary.
it's
Sound like
scary.
a
We see it happen all the time when we look at culture and
sound
things
like
happen to women that go on these internets, and they find them not here or man not here. What happened to the daughter? She just went to the store and you don't even know you're on these sites for these people and you don't even realize what you're getting into. So we tell women and men, please don't do it. Please ask for guidance, direction. Don't do it. When your gut say, well, I feel funny, listen to it. You know what I mean? Do not do it. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous thing. It's dangerous.
mm-hmm.
Some people want to do what they want to do, but we tell you, be careful because it's
Yeah.
very dangerous.
Yes. Be very, very careful.
Be very careful.
We're
Be
gonna
very
look at
careful with that.
some comments and then we're gonna get up out of here. So Demarcus says, I believe love after lockup is just for entertainment.
Yeah.
It could be, of course it is, but
Yeah. They
there are
getting money.
some people out here that are, yeah, they're out
Yeah.
here. Sharoni says he can easily send out multiple letters. I found them and was not happy, let's just say. So she's
Wow.
saying that this one guy that you think is
That's so
he
good.
ain't going nowhere. He where he is. Yes, he is, but them letters is going out all over the
That's what
place.
come on. Who said that?
Sharoni.
Shout out to Sharodi because that's what I just said. You don't even know if you're the only. Come on, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, you
That's
don't
so
know.
good.
You don't know if you're the only person, yeah, but it's you don't know if you're the only person. You don't know if did I just do something crazy? Sorry.
Even on the
You don't.
visits.
Yeah, the visits, nothing. You don't know if there's another person coming up there. Like he probably be on these sites all the time.
Yes. When I
You
used to
never.
be married to this person and I used to go visit him, he used to tell me stories. He used to be like, yo, boo, you see that guy right there? You know he got a wife, but he doing such and such with the
Oh
man behind. Like, he
no.
used to tell me stories. Yo, that's his wife. That's his. Like, you don't know. Like, what's going on? But you want all the attention.
Oh my gosh,
You
that
don't, I'm
is
telling you, it's real.
crazy.
It's real. It's real.
And this Demarcus says diseases could get involved in conjugal visits as well. See,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's
Ooh,
why you have to be
Jesus, you
so
took it to
careful.
another level. Because you don't know what's going on behind them walls.
Exactly, because stuff is going on behind those walls,
They going on.
and you're thinking, "Oh, he ain't going nowhere." That don't mean nothing.
That don't mean he ain't going nowhere out of the
They
jail,
be
but he
gay for
going
the
places.
stay,
He going places inside that place.
right? But that's what they call it, right? Gay for the stay.
Yes, come on. You know, it be people that be, it's a danger. It's very dangerous. It's just very, very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Like I said, you have stories that people have great stories that come out of it. You know, a lot of time those stories sometimes are people that, like you said, they knew the person before things happened. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't
not.
know. And you got daughters, so your daughter talking about mom. I'm on a. You be like, what? Ain't happening
Mm-mm.
here. Nah, it
No.
ain't happening.
No, I
Nah.
mean, there might be some stories, like you said, that where it's once in a blue moon, but I
Yeah,
just
you may
think
hear
that,
stories.
yeah, I just think that it's best not to, I could understand if you met your husband or your love interest in a prison ministry, like he's coming out
That's
of
different.
prison and
That's
he's in
different.
the ministry because he's trying to change his life and things
That's
like
different.
that.
That's
You know what I
different.
mean?
That's
Because for
different.
the bottom line is they're in there for a reason. So
Ooh, you
don't
talking good.
so
They're in
just
there for a reason.
stay away. You don't need
Run,
that kind of
Forrest, run.
yeah, you don't need that kind of energy around your family,
No.
nothing. And look, some of these women look like this lady Julia. She feel like she got the sense there's a sense of control. A lot of people they've given up on love and they've given up on
And I
just
get it.
relationships
I
and
get
stuff
it
like that.
sometimes.
So they just feel like, hey, I'm gonna do it the way I can, and he's emotionally available, and I get to talk and this and that before I go to bed at night.
There you
I got
go. I
somebody that
know.
could
I've
tell
been
my
there. Hours
I
on the phone.
I got somebody that could tell my day to. So here we
Yeah,
go.
they be like collect call from a correction. I've been there
Yeah,
from a
and
correction facility.
so for her, it works, but that's not. That's
Mm-mm,
not.
mm-mm,
I
mm-mm.
mean, those were the those were that's the criteria that she wanted. She wanted somebody that was far that she didn't have to go see, and somebody that was she thought wasn't because she ain't coming
Who
home.
she think?
You're right. She don't so what I don't know, but it's
And
just not
now,
the
and
best
and
idea.
also now people like her and other people, like this is like they said. You said you got some things from Dr. Phil and what he said. This is people trying to justify. Then you'll get people like that, and they'll say, "Well, what about people that's in person?" See, these are the conversations of people to say. They'll say, "Well, I've dated people in person. And he this. I'm telling you, he did this, they did that, they cheated, they did the same
Wait till
thing
he get
like the one
home.
in because people are gonna want to justify their behavior. They're gonna say,
Hmm.
"Well, I did that. This one took my money. This one ran with me. This one cheated with my sister. I was in. I dated people that's in person, and like you said." And that's what they do. They justify their situation. The mere fact that you have to do that let you know that it's already wrong.
Right.
The mere fact when you start giving all those excuses, you already know that you're in the wrong situation.
Yeah.
You're not secure in that. Nah.
Mm-mm.
Somebody's saying something. I don't know what
Yeah.
somebody's saying.
Sharoni says she believes that it's fun and then he will be released. Will be making first call to 911. Sheesh.
Jesus. Oh my God. Woo, she said the call to 911. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
man, that's
Wow.
crazy.
That's
It's
that
just,
it's sad.
yeah,
It's
it's
really
very
sad.
sad
And
because
we
it's
really have
like,
to pray. Because I'm praying. I was always interested in prison ministry. I've done it. It was powerful. I went to the maximum prison jail to preach to women in prison. Now don't get me wrong, there are men and women in prison that are on fire for God. They love Jesus. They had an encounter inside the prison walls. They are tearing the prison walls down for Jesus. Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
There are
Hmm.
men and women behind prison walls. They did things, they made mistakes, some high crimes, and it took that for them to change their lives. Don't get me wrong, because God is the great cardiologist. He can change a woman's heart. There are people that we're praying that they come out and connect and they life change. We're not saying that these things won't happen. But like you said, we're just talking about people that just go out and just on them dating apps and say, I want the ones that's in prison, you know. And I can't believe you said there are 40 of them. That's a lot. I only heard that about
Mm-mm-mm.
the one man. 40. Wow. That's why I said when I looked at how many people that are involved with relationships, I said 9 million.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Man,
People,
we need help
you
in
know,
relationships.
it's about playing it safe at the end of the day. Some people are really afraid to get hurt, but it's like you
Oh,
that's crazy.
you are really yeah,
If you
you
think you're not gonna get hurt by dealing with somebody in the prison system,
girl,
you're bugging.
you are delusional. Definitely
Yes,
bugging. Yes.
especially if you don't know them. Like, oh my gosh, you don't know
It's
them at
scary to
all.
just swipe. I'm scared to swipe an app even if you're not in prison.
Yes,
Let's
yes.
go there. I don't even
Thank
swipe
you.
apps. The people that's in regular dating app, I'm not even on no dating apps.
That
Like
is even scary.
that's scary. Cause
Mm.
people, a lot of this, and that's what the girl said. A lot of this stuff she said is fake. She said it's not real. It's like you said, it is a fantasy. It's
Hmm.
something in you wanted that bad boy. I don't know. You might have saw your best movie character. I don't know. There's something in you want some this sexual pleasure for this guy, muscular and coming out of bars, and I don't know what it is, but it's unhealthy. And
It's
I don't think that if I just think that God has more for you. Let me say that.
mm-hmm.
I think that He wants more for you. I don't think
Yeah,
that He wants you to say go on to and that I just think that God has more for you.
of course.
He has more for you. That's all I can say. As we I know ended up, He just has more for you. And I know it's hard in these streets. It's not easy when you've been hurt. We've been there. You know what I mean? And
Mm,
sometimes, and I like what you said. You read something that one of them said that pain heals pain.
mm-hmm.
Who says that?
Right.
Who? What
Who
kind of
says
language
that?
is that? And
That's
you're a third. Like who says that?
it was the person that she's the like the owner of one of the
Of course
dating
she'd say that.
apps.
Already know that you're hurting. You
Mm-hmm.
spruting out all of that stuff on the media and in this app. Pain heals pain.
Pain. Yeah,
I'm
it's
like
ridiculous.
that lets you know there's something that it's a
It's
scary
something
thing,
wrong with
Khadija.
her as well because
There's
she
something
probably
wrong with her.
yeah.
And society, if you think pain heals pain. Like who
Mm-hmm.
that's like telling somebody that's getting beat up and cut up and say, give me more. Like that's not normal.
Yeah,
So
Sharoni
something is
says
hurting in her
it's
that you would
irresponsible
say that.
language. Exactly.
What she said?
It's irresponsible language.
Oh, I love
Hmm.
that. That's
Yeah.
definitely irresponsible language. Who says
Yeah.
that? That's like somebody
Yep.
throwing a ball in your face. And you say, throw it 4 more times. Hit me on the other cheek. Like who does that?
Yeah. And
It's not.
that's true, Sharoni. Hurt people sounds more accurate. Exactly.
That's what I
Because
always
that
hear.
is
And
true.
that's their story. They hurt
That
and
is
sick.
true.
That's
Yeah.
why they connecting to hurt on those acts. That's it.
Exactly. Because
Something is going on.
they're connected to trauma in their past and all of that and bad relationships prior to that, so they think that, that's the route to always go.
Yeah.
They don't know how to or even know they don't even know how to be or act normal in a situation where somebody's treating them good.
No, no,
That would just like freak them out.
no. So
So,
now that I got an inmate, somebody in prison, like you said, this woman said, I ain't got to be around them. I ain't got to do wash. I ain't got to do no dishes. I ain't got to worry about nothing. I can go to sleep. I can do what I want, and I can just talk to them over the phone. So I
mhm.
don't have no worries. I don't have to worry about nobody where they at, and they not coming. They disappointing me, and you don't realize that's the worst thing because you're getting emotionally attacked, and you don't even know if that's his real sentence. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. Before we get to Demarcus's question, this I was gonna say that trauma bonding. Sharoni says trauma bond. I still do not completely understand why this happens. I think I know why it happens because a lot of times people, and I'll speak from my own experience. With the situation that I had with, in my marriage and stuff, I was looking for people that been through what I've been through.
Hmm.
Now, I think that's not the same as trauma bonding, but a lot of times that's what happens. People are looking for somebody that understands what they're
Yes.
going through. And so what happens is you start bonding over your trauma.
Yes. That's
You know
good.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you're in a setting where you're just doing it alone, you're not getting any type of professional help or something like that, then it becomes toxic. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
That's really good.
But if you go to a support group like I did, and you have somebody that's leading the group that's, licensed to help you guys along, and you're doing exercises and you have a healthy way of getting it out and bonding that way, then it's better. But,
That's
or
good.
when you're doing like what you did, Lachelle, you're going to therapy, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Or like we do, we talk on the phone and stuff like that. So I
Yes.
wouldn't
Yes.
call what we do trauma bonding, because I feel like trauma bonding is like more so associated with, like, it has a negative connotation to me. But I
Hmm.
think that that's what people do, because naturally we want to be around people that know what it's like, because a lot of times if somebody didn't go through it, they don't understand, and then sometimes they're not very empathetic about it.
Yes. So
Sometimes they're just
true.
like, oh well, you should move on, girl, he wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to
Yeah.
wait,
Why
da,
are
da,
you
da.
still crying and worrying about him? Like,
Yeah.
get over it. It's true.
so
It's
so you
true.
need somebody that understands, you know what I mean? So but that's what I have to say about the trauma bonding thing.
Hmm.
It just has to be a healthy environment, or else it will be toxic.
Yeah,
Mm-mm-mm.
that was well said, Khadija. When you talked about that was well said. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
When you do trauma bond, like I said, long as you going toward you both parties are going toward a healthier way to come out of it. But like you said, but if you trauma bonding and you just see yourself, both of you, whoever the people are you talking to, and y'all both continue spiraling down here, there's no healthy outlet, then you know something is wrong. That was well said,
Yeah.
Khadija. It said that broke that down well.
Thank you. So
Hmm.
before we get out of here, something a little bit different. Demarcus is leading us down a different path.
Okay.
So he says, how did y'all feel about Pastor Franklin and Megan Good's relationship?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. Oh, Marcus is good. I love these questions. Go
Yeah.
ahead, sis. I'll
Well,
talk a
for
little bit
me,
more.
I didn't really like I felt like he was very good at protecting her and, sticking up for her, but I
He
think
did.
that he did what he had to do as a husband from what we saw. We don't really know what happened on the inside. But for me, I feel like she just wasn't right for him.
I was getting
She
ready to say
wasn't
that.
ready. She wasn't
No,
ready.
and it's okay.
And it's okay. And even now, like, to me, if you get
Yeah,
with a man of God, you have to look the part. You gotta fix yourself. You cannot be
come on.
going out with cleavage out and you still walking around like sexy. No, you can't do that. Who was a
That's
perfect
really good.
example? Adrienne Bailon. When
Who's
she got
that?
with Israel Houghton,
Oh, she
she
changed
changed
her.
herself
Yes,
around, her image,
she
because
really
now I'm
did.
with a man of God, he's a worshiper and things like that, and I cannot be on here showing my cleavage and having a little short dress on, this and that. She
Mm.
definitely changed her image. You have to fit the part. I'm sorry,
Oh, that's so good.
you have to fit the part. Just like I think you and I were talking and saying that if you got with a man who was, like a businessman or something like that, and you were going somewhere with him and you just showed up with some, ripped up jeans. I'm just
Or
throwing
booty
things out there.
shorts and
Yeah,
a
booty
white beater.
shorts and, just, I don't mind ripped jeans. I'm just saying, I was just
Yeah,
trying to throw something out there. Some sweats and,
or like a
something
tank
just
top, white beater, or
with a
tank
scarf
top. Yeah,
with a scarf on.
with a bonnet
Like,
on.
you have to look the part, just like the president's wife has to look the
Woo!
part. She
So
has to
good.
look like the first lady. So she just didn't compliment him the way she was supposed to. She
I
didn't
got
know
to
what
give you some snaps.
yeah, she didn't
That
know
was
what
so good.
she didn't know what she was getting into. And so for that, I felt bad for him.
Yeah,
um Maybe I should feel bad for her, but I don't know.
yeah. That's a great question, and Khadija said everything. And like, I love what you said. I just think they wasn't a right fit. Now,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe that they were there with each other for 10 years, for a season, because he was a man of God. I believe that he was a gate for her to understand Jesus and
Mm-hmm.
receive the Lord at that time, because she does believe in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and
Yeah.
she just wasn't the right fit. And I
Right.
believe that where God was taking Minister Devon, that she wasn't ready to go there, and it's
No.
okay. You know
That's
what I
it's
mean? And
okay.
now she goes with
The
Jonathan
other guy.
Major. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And we know he had some history that wasn't too good just recently and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. But I love what Khadija said. You got to fit the part.
Mm-hmm.
I heard the great Bishop Jake said, you don't go to the boardroom with jail clothes on. Like
Right.
Esther had to fit the part. When you read the book of Esther, 6 months she had to be purged, oiled down before she even could get in front of the king. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like a police officer coming with shorts and a jersey. He got to have on uniform. When you're in the
Yes.
army, your shirt got to be buttoned well. You got your shoes got to be shined. You got to fit the part. You know,
Yes.
if you're a bartender, they want bartender girls to look sexy when they work for the bar. Why? Because it draws people to come get drinks. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
just that simple. So this, he's a man of God. So you just,
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny. I'm telling you, God is so strategic because now it looked like his life, he elevated. I mean, he used
Yeah.
to talk about the Lord, but now and then his life just. I said, all right, he's single too. Hello, you know what I'm saying? He's very much single in these streets. Come on now, Devon. Glory be to God.
Wait, I
You
think
know,
he got. I think he either got married or he's engaged now.
I don't know. I never seen him with nobody yet. He may be, but I haven't seen him come out with a person yet.
Oh
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
but it took his,
That's the
and
word
if
of
he is, that's
sweet.
amazing. But it
Mm-hmm.
took his life elevated, and we're praying for her. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Praying for
Yeah.
her. But I just, like you said, I just don't think they was the right fit. Nah,
No.
they wasn't the right fit. Mm-mm,
Yeah.
they wasn't the right fit.
Well, folks, that was that. Thank you guys so much for being here with us. Sharoni,
So good.
Demarcus, Vaughn, my sis Janae was here. Pastor Lisa was in the
Come
building.
on, Prophet Lisa, such a blessing.
Let me see who else. LSW, hi. If I didn't get to say hi to you, Daria was here.
Hi, everybody.
Um, Patrice Young.
That's my daughter. Hi,
Oh,
my
that's your
baby girl.
daughter?
Yes, hi, my baby
Hi.
girl. Yes, my baby. Yes, my baby girl.
Yes, Stephen Harris and Moochie. Thank you guys so much for being here. Check us out next week with a whole nother
I love it.
topic.
Woof.
And remember, you are worth it, fearfully, wonderfully made. God
Yes.
loves you and He deems you worthy. Okay?
Yes.
So you need to find your worth. You don't need to be with a man who is already in cap. He's locked up. He's
My.
physically
Come
locked
on.
up. He's probably locked up in his mind mentally as well. You don't need that.
Come on.
So
You are
wait
worth
on the
it.
Lord. Get with somebody that that God sends you. Wait,
Yes.
serve the Lord, and He'll work everything out. You know what it is. You know what it says. Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom of
Come
God and
on,
His
Khadijah.
righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. Amen.
Amen. I love you
Until
guys. It's amazing. Amen. Like Khadijah
Amen.
said, you're worth it. Wait on God.
Amen. Thank you. Until next time, cast your cares on God because He cares for you. And may the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Take care and be blessed. Bye
Bye bye.
bye.